a great sadness that there's intolerance. It's intolerance of creed, of colour, of mankind generally, you know. There's just lacking in tolerance, which no, I love architecture. It's, as you know, my father, also John Brogan, was an architect from 1927 onwards, and a very good one, I must say. Now we're heading at the moment for Coasters Retreat. Well, I'll just take it up a click or so. Let's go a little bit faster. Yeah, I did these, yeah.
You painted all of those?
Yeah. This is New Zealand, Taranaki. And that's what we call Corner Beach, down on this side, just below the house here.
What made you want to be an architect?
Well, it wasn't my father that made me do architecture, I can assure you of that. He would never talk like that, he would never suggest what you do. Well, I don't think you've seen that one yet of the old man. This was after Dad retired. He was probably about 80 or 78 at that time. That's just one of myself and Dad. Oh, I had a very good relationship with him, really. He'd been taken everywhere on his jobs, you know, being encouraged all the way through.
Who's this handsome man?
I don't know.
How old are you at this point?
I was 50 years old or something like that. This was 1950s, the temple was being designed and built, and it's a building of a very sophisticated construction. In a sense, it was reinforced concrete, which was new. It was not really typical in any sense at all.
Was it an important project in your dad's career?
Oh, very much so, yeah. It's got a number of tentacles, really, in the sense that there's a lot of arms that need to be considered, and the proportions, the three-stage auditorium, mezzanine, dome. So all of those things we'd be discussing, you know, both on the site and at home around the dinner table. Yes, I was there at the time when the helicopter raised the lantern. You can see that the whole of the dome is scaffolded up, ready to lay the concrete to the dome itself. The helicopter landed the two stages of the lantern, the base and the canopy, in two separate exercises, one after the other. So it was an amazing feat, it really was. We will always underestimate what the people did back then. Having spent a lot of my time in the last 35 years going back in time, the architecture of the pyramids 5,000 years ago was being transposed into France in the 1400s. So then I started to look at what the original meaning was, how it was translated over that period of time with totally different religions, but all with the same fundamental layout. When you lay the transparency over the other, all done to scale, you see, this is not coincidence. It doesn't matter how else you look at it, it's not coincidence. So all of those sort of things were going around in my mind, and I was asking questions and I was getting answers, and that's what started my journey towards the Baha'i Faith, where at the moment I have almost a great sadness that there's intolerance. So the relevance then in the present time really starts, doesn't it, from the time when I was 10, when the Baha'i Temple at Ingleside was being conceived. My exposure to an all-embracing faith was something that really stood out. I describe it best by saying I think that the Baha'is live their faith. I was not used to that. They would very attentively listen in discussion. They'd put forward their individual contribution and then we'd discuss it, everything equal. I was asked to design the information centre, as it was called, and also the House of Worship, the office buildings that stretch out. And I was pretty aware and conscious that I wanted something that would not vie with the temple structure, its colour or its status on the site. You'll notice that those buildings are all brown brick, brown tile, all terracotta and concrete columns that don't need any paint. I don't know when I did those buildings, but they're as good as the day we left the building site. And there's nothing to wear and tear there. And that to me is very, very important. My wife and I go up to the temple occasionally just to have a browse around and meditate. It's very conducive to meditation. It's very quiet. And I noticed that there are 10 beliefs mentioned there in the temple grounds. And I was just reading one after the other. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, that's the crux of both. Yeah. And, well, where do you go then? My historical etching away, I guess, of history was leading me to the same sort of conclusion that the Bab had when he foresaw that mankind to live together needed to think together and mix together. And the fewer interruptions there are to that, the better. I mean, I've obviously been thinking about the Baha'i beliefs for, 65 years, isn't it? And as I say, the proof of a Baha'i, one that's genuine and very inclusive. And I think after all, that's what the world needs. That's what's missing in the world at the moment.
How does it feel to be a Baha'i?
I think in a way it really is letting me feel at home. I'd say that.